Okay, we're finally here. The big pie of pies. Remember, we have way lowballed this. This is like 37.5% of the whole mess. Okay, pie number 10. This is the LIPS, License Incognito Prostitution Services, and the projected annual revenue, or the PAR. This is an overview of what to expect here. We're going to have, the fast growth years. We're going to have some maintenance years. Then we're going to have some adjustment years, and then we're going to have some long-term years. Things happen in cycles. So this is an overview. This is the longest section. If you need munchies, you better get them, because we're going to go all the way through this. And once you find out how many jobs are created, how we save the economy, you're going to trip. But it's going to take some while. And the two things the one main thing I want to submit to you is all this crying for jobs and money. Jobs and money. This whole mess, this whole acts of providence I'm putting together, one little shot at a time, is worth what? You're talking over 2 million American jobs, 500,000 careers. You're talking $60 trillion that I've actually been showing you. And isn't that worth 24 hours of being bored as hell counting the numbers? Think about that. Okay, so let's do it. Rips. This is the first thing. It's reoccurring. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know who you got yourself online, whoever, you're making us money. 25%, a matter of fact, should continue to stay in your pockets. And this is something we're going to address. But the other 75% of your income, we're snagging from you. And this is what's going to make it all work and come together. The POP Physician Program is going to take 8% for the first 4 years. So we have the first 4 years, 5 to 10 years, 11 to 25 years, and 26 years and beyond. So the POP Physician, first 4 years, setting it up, getting it all prepared. I can't say it enough. Department of Defense, this is that huge. You're talking $10 billion, $42,500,000. Then it comes the ROAR. You're talking medical research here. 1%, $1,255,312,500. But look at that. You're up to 9% effectively going into medical itself. 1% for the POP. $1,255,312,500. Participating states, 10% is $12,553,125,000. Participating locals is 25%. Is $31,382,812,500. So right there you have an effective rate of 35% staying within the state, and more so even in the local community. Once you factor in the fact that the RIPS work locally, you got 25% to go with your 35%, you're already up to 60% effective money staying in the area. And you still have your POP Physician Program, which of course takes place locally as well for the most part. One way or another, the money stays, for the most part, right there in the state, right there in the community. Okay, federal government, 15% comes to $18,829,687,500 every year, every single year. Think about that. We're not borrowing that from our kids. We're not borrowing that from the future. We're making that. We made some of it with some buds. Now we're making it with some booty calls. Okay, our future world. Right now, we're going to stack away 15%, $18,829,687,500, and you're going to just have to wait until Act 10, our future world, to find out where all that moolah is going. Years 5 to 10, no change. No change for the most part. What's going to change is some of the infrastructure when it comes down to the participating state, local, and federal government levels. Those are going to change. We're going to get really focused on these three right here. And it's just the little subtle differences. Little things will change. But the funding itself in the large scale does not change. Now we come years 11 through 25. I didn't read the Acts of Providence before I sent it to President Bush. I didn't do it. I didn't read it. And as you've noticed in a couple of occasions, I found some number problems. I make little stars next to them. Well, this is one of them. This is a star down here. There's no change for RIPS all the way across. They keep their 25% always. The POP Physician Program, once we get to years 11 through 25, the system's built, so we bring them down to 5%, which is an effective rate of 6.2+ billion a year. The ROAR stays the same, so research dollars are staying there. The POP stays the same. They get their little 1%. But then we got the participating states. It's time to give the states some more money. Actually, more money for states. Absolutely. So now that the other systems are built, we went up from 10 to 15%. So the effective rate for states is going from 12 billion to 18 billion, 18.8 billion. Participating locals, no real change there. You're going to see the subtle changes when we break it down. And then I messed up on the federal government. I went through here a couple of times. Did I crunch that right? Doesn't that equal 100%? But when you look at it from the TAP perspective, it's not broke down this defined. I've actually never done this before. It's a big voluminous mess. I didn't write TAP. Lord gave me TAP. I went with it. Whatever the Lord says, I did my best to interpret TAP. I published TAP. I did not write it. Just like, yeah, I'm not doing this for me. God told me to do this for the kids. So we're doing this for the kids. So I'm gonna have to go back through and crunch 18 billion down to 12 billion. Ain't that about a bitch? So then we go to our future world. Our future world goes down to 13%. So it's coming in at 16.3 plus billion. Once again, the federal government will basically end up as a no change. But I'll have to look at the subtle programs in there and recrunch all the damn numbers. So we get years 26 and beyond. So long as Congress does TAP, codifies TAP like they're supposed to, Senate approves it, the President signs it, and all that nice stuff, and you foreign nations, you can do the same thing with your Parliament, your House of Commons, whatever, you know. So long as they stay on the same page and they do as planned, come year 26, they'll have a chance to reproach everything. Then in year 20, and by the way, all you old timers in there, this means you get to go in there, do your thing. Even you ones that are dirty as hell, you get to clean up your karma and then skate out of there and say, hey, I did it for 25 years. It's not my fault. People agreed with it. It's not our fault if it doesn't work. See? You're able to get yourself out of a big mess. So at any rate, overview. Years 26 and beyond. Participating local general fund, participating states general fund, and the POP. 1% each. I didn't crunch out, what 50%, what this would be divided by 50. I didn't crunch it out when it'd be divided by 50,000. The bottom line is the general fund, state and local, are being served. They got 1.2 billion in there. Treasury on the POP end takes 49 million off a POP share. So then we go down to FEMA, PALS, the ETC, which you haven't learned about yet, unless you're part of the ETC or hip to the farm, eh? So the ETC, the POP physician program, and the ROAR and TOTS. All of them are going to maintain this funding here at 2.5%. This is supposed to go from years 26 through 100. You're covering your butts on this. 26 through 100. It's a long-term project. You've already got long-term here. Now you've got mega long-term. Everybody's covered. So each of these is going to get $3,138,281,250 annually for the next 75 years. TESS, Energy Self-Sufficiency Project. This is something we haven't begun to cover yet, which we're about to get into. TESS will maintain a budget of $3.1 billion as well. POPA Federal Pie, it should be Federal Pie piece number 4. These federal recipients listed in this pie will maintain this budget. There's actually 4. Each year they have a different pie. And in this case, because it's a final breakdown, we finally gave it its own little division, if you will. So 11% to NOAA, 11% to NASA comes into $13,808,437,500. Then our future world. Our future world, 25% for the next 75 years. $31,382,812,500. When you see this mega project, and keep in mind other nations. In America's case, there's 3 mega projects on the table. And those mega projects work. They're designed to intertwine with your own projects. Big time. And that's above and beyond the NASA stuff. So then Congress, you finally get some money if you be kind enough. Here's $6.276 billion a year, 5% of the budget, for your own discretionary spending, your own little pet projects. There's a little bit of money to go around for everybody.